Welcome to District Command Central, your go-to source for the latest news and updates on the Washington Commanders. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the bell so you never miss a play. Something absolutely wild seems to be brewing in the NFL rumor mill right now, and it's got everyone in Washington and San Francisco buzzing. According to multiple whispers floating around from insiders who claim to have ties with front office personnel, there's a secret deal that might just bring Chase Young back to the Commanders. Yeah, you heard that right. The same Chase Young that was traded to the 49ers in what was supposed to be a fresh start for both sides. Now, word on the street is that something's been happening behind the scenes, something that's got agents, executives, and even a few players scratching their heads. Apparently, the Commanders' new management, ever since the ownership change, has been quietly exploring ways to rebuild the defensive identity they lost, and what better way than to bring back the former Defensive Rookie of the Year. The move, if it's real, would shake the entire NFC East because it's not every day a team admits it might have moved on too quickly from one of its generational talents. There's no official confirmation yet, but the amount of noise this story is making suggests where there's smoke, there's definitely some serious fire. If this rumor has any truth behind it, the timing could be absolutely fascinating. The trade deadline is just passed, which makes everyone wonder, how could a secret deal even happen at this point? Some reports are hinting that paperwork may have been filed quietly before the official cutoff, creating a loophole scenario that allows the transaction to finalize later. Others are saying it might not even be a traditional trade, but a complicated swap involving future picks, conditions, or even player incentives tied to performance. It's the kind of behind-the-scenes maneuvering that only the most daring front offices pull off, and considering how the Commanders have been reinventing themselves under new leadership, it's not impossible. Insiders also claim that Chase himself has been feeling a bit unsettled in San Francisco, struggling to find his exact role among that star-studded defense. While he's made an impact in flashes, sources close to him suggest he misses being the guy, the defensive cornerstone, something he was clearly set up to be back in Washington before the injuries. If this all plays out, it would be the comeback nobody saw coming. There's also the emotional element that can't be ignored. Fans in Washington were split when Chase Young was traded. Some felt it was the right move to get value before he hit free agency. Others believe the front office gave up too early on a player who hadn't even reached his prime yet. His return, if it happens, would be pure cinematic storytelling. Almost like a redemption arc. Imagine him walking back into that locker room, surrounded by a new coaching staff, new energy, and a chance to rewrite the narrative. The fans would absolutely lose their minds. The stadium would explode with energy the first time he steps on the field in burgundy and gold again. And from a branding perspective, the Commanders desperately need a spark, something that reconnects them with their fan base after years of transition. Chase Young's homecoming could be exactly that. It's not just about football at this point. It's about emotion, legacy, and unfinished business. Every insider and beat reporter is now trying to verify the chatter, but the silence from both teams is making the whole thing even more suspicious. Meanwhile, in San Francisco, the mood seems oddly tense. The 49ers' locker room isn't known for leaks, but lately, a few subtle hints have started to surface. Some players have reportedly noticed changes in Young's demeanor, quieter, more distant, maybe even frustrated. He's been playing solid football, but perhaps not quite fitting the defensive scheme as perfectly as expected. Nick Bosa and Chase have a strong friendship, but that doesn't necessarily translate into seamless on-field chemistry. Add to that the fact that the 49ers' defensive line is loaded with elite talent, and suddenly you start to understand why Chase might be open to a new chapter, even if that chapter is a return to an old book. There are whispers that he's been in touch with a few of his former teammates, even liking social media posts related to Washington, which might seem small, but fans know those digital breadcrumbs often mean something. Every little move is now being analyzed as if it's part of a larger puzzle. What really turns this into a potential bombshell is how secretive it all seems to be. Usually, when there's a trade discussion, at least one major insider breaks it within minutes. But this one, total radio silence from Schefter, Rappaport, and all the usual suspects. That's why fans are calling it a ghost trade, something that's being orchestrated behind closed doors, known only to a handful of executives. Some fans are even speculating that it could involve deferred compensation or a multi-team arrangement where the paperwork doesn't immediately trigger public reporting. The level of mystery is almost cinematic, like something out of a sports drama. The Commanders' new GM has been praised for creativity and boldness, and this would certainly fit that mold. Bringing Chase back could not only bolster the defense, but also send a message across the league. Washington isn't rebuilding anymore, they're reloading. Until something official drops. Though, it's all whispers, all tension, all suspense. Still, we can't overlook the timing of all this. The Commanders have been showing signs of life lately, with their defense holding stronger and their offense finding rhythm under a new system. But everyone knows they're still missing that one explosive presence on the edge, that kind of player who changes games just by being there. Chase Young was supposed to be that guy. Bringing him back would be like reuniting the band for one more world tour, only this time with more experience, more humility, and maybe more hunger. Whether this rumor becomes reality or not, it's already doing its job. It's got the entire NFL community talking, debating, and speculating. It's the kind of story that captures everything fans love about sports: drama, emotion, unpredictability, and the possibility of redemption. Until something official comes out, this rumor will keep growing, echoing across social media, podcasts, and locker rooms alike. Now, let's talk about why this possible Chase Young reunion would make so much sense from a football perspective. When you break it down, the Commanders' defensive scheme has subtly shifted this season. They're playing more hybrid fronts, mixing 4-3 and 3-4 alignments, which actually fits Chase's athleticism much better than the 49ers' heavy gap discipline system. He thrives when he's allowed to freelance a little, to chase, to read, to react instinctively. That's what made him a college superstar and an NFL Defensive Rookie of the Year. Under the right coordinator, he could easily regain that form. Washington's defensive coaches know his tendencies, his recovery routines, and most importantly, his mindset. If they believe he's matured and ready to lead again, it's a no-brainer. The fans would instantly forgive any past disagreements. From a roster-building standpoint, the Commanders could absorb his contract since they've cleared cap space. For next offseason, everything lines up logically, even if the way it's supposedly happening feels like something straight out of a spy novel. The real question, though, is why the 49ers would even consider letting him go, especially when they're chasing another Super Bowl. Well, that's where the whispers get interesting. Some insiders claim that while Chase Young has been solid, the coaching staff expected more consistent dominance. With a loaded roster and expensive contracts looming, the 49ers might be looking to balance future cap space. There's even a theory floating around that San Francisco could receive future draft compensation or an under-the-radar player swap in return. It might sound crazy, but the NFL has seen stranger things. Think about last-minute trade reversals, retroactive deals, and even unannounced conditional pick trades. If this deal was structured with layers of contingencies, it could have been quietly activated once certain conditions were met. And if that's the case, then technically, the Commanders might already have their star defensive end back. The public just doesn't know it yet. It's the kind of plot twist that makes fans refresh their feeds every 5 minutes. From Chase Young's perspective, the story becomes even more compelling. Here's a guy who went from being hailed as the next great defensive force to battling injuries, inconsistency, and skepticism about his long-term ceiling. Getting traded once is tough, but being traded twice, especially back to your original team, could either break a player or completely reignite their fire. Those close to Chase have reportedly said he's been more introspective lately, more focused on proving that he can still be elite. Returning to Washington could feel like coming full circle, like destiny, giving him one more shot to finish what he started. His return would instantly elevate the Commanders' defensive morale, and the fans would rally behind him like never before. For Chase, it's not just about the money or the fame, it's about legacy. And right now, nothing would rewrite his story better than a triumphant comeback in the same city that once crowned him its defensive savior. There's also the strategic advantage for the Commanders' front office if this rumor materializes. Bringing back a familiar face like Chase Young could stabilize the locker room dynamics, especially among younger players who grew up idolizing him. It also signals to the rest of the league that Washington is serious about competing now, not 2 years down the line. When you combine that with their recent improvements on offense, it paints the picture of a team ready to surprise people. The front office would win points with fans, the coaching staff would get a premier pass rusher, and Chase would get redemption. It's almost too perfect, which is probably why so many people are skeptical. But sometimes, the NFL isn't about logic. It's about timing, narrative, and boldness. And if the Commanders are willing to take that risk, it could turn into one of the most talked about mid-season twists in years. If you're enjoying the coverage, make sure to smash that like button and drop a comment with your thoughts on the Commanders' latest moves. We want to hear from you. As for the fans, their reaction would be nothing short of electric. Social media is already buzzing with old highlights, clips of Chase sacking quarterbacks, and fans saying things like, "Bring him home," and "It's destiny." The nostalgia factor alone could reignite local support and boost ticket sales overnight. Washington's identity has been in flux since the rebranding and ownership changes, but this would give people something real to believe in again. Imagine the headlines, the jerseys flying off the shelves, the energy in that stadium when he returns. Sports thrive on moments that feel bigger than the game, and this would be one of them. It's that mix of hope, redemption, and passion that keeps fans invested no matter how chaotic things get. Whether this rumor proves true or not, it's already accomplished one thing. It's made people feel something again about Washington football. Until the truth comes out, we're stuck in this delicious suspense. The kind that makes sports media spin out of control, fans lose sleep, and insiders double-check their sources 3 times. Maybe it's all smoke. Maybe it's a test leak from one of the teams to gauge public reaction. Or maybe, just maybe, somewhere in an office late at night, a deal was signed that no one's supposed to know about yet. Whatever the case, one thing's for sure, the Chase Young story isn't over. Whether he's wearing red and gold or burgundy and gold next week, his name will dominate every sports show, every podcast, every conversation. Because that's what stars do. They keep us watching, wondering, and dreaming. And if this comeback becomes real, it won't just be a trade. It'll be a resurrection, the kind of headline that defines a season. Finally, industry insiders suggest that the coming weeks could define both Quinn's legacy and the trajectory of the player's career, with potential outcomes ranging from reconciliation to permanent separation. Sources hint that strategic conversations about team structure, leadership, and discipline are underway, reflecting the high-stakes nature of professional football, where decisions are scrutinized and consequences are immediate. Analysts speculate that the incident will remain a central talking point in sports media, influencing narratives about authority, personality, and the balance between talent and temperament. Fans and social media communities remain captivated, dissecting every new tidbit, rumor, or comment as the story unfolds, reflecting both the drama of professional sports and the human dynamics behind elite competition. Whispered accounts suggest that even minor interactions in practice or meetings are now interpreted in light of the confrontation, reinforcing Quinn's authority while highlighting the precarious position of the player in question. The swirling speculation, analysis, and rumor create a narrative that extends beyond wins, losses, and statistics, capturing the emotional intensity, leadership challenges, and unpredictable drama that define professional football, leaving observers riveted, anxious, and eager for the next chapter in this evolving saga of power, personality, and professional consequence. Thanks for tuning into District Command Central. Make sure to subscribe and follow us for all the Commanders news you need. Until next time, keep the faith and hail to the Commanders.